paint a picture of how much extra time you've had to spend kind of learning?
Yeah, I mean, so when I first got there, me and Brian would meet every day, and then so we'd go through the install every single day for a couple hours, and then obviously we'd have the normal quarterback meeting and throwing session or whatever it may be, and then I would go home that night and study everything that we would study the next day. So you're talking about 4 or 5 hours a day outside of the normal structure of what we're doing, and it was a big investment. At the end of the day, like that stuff isn't work to me. You know what I mean? Like I do genuinely enjoy that. I genuinely enjoy walking out of the huddle and feeling like I have complete mastery of what we're running. So the process has been very enjoyable, like I said. And just it's hard to describe that feeling, but calling the play in the huddle and exactly what's happening, exactly what's going on. And I'm just talking about okay, we're running outside zone here. I'm talking about okay, we want to run this to X amount of people on this side. If not, we're checking the counter or whatever. So I think having that knowledge and that depth of the system, I think is a really really special feeling. And it gets me fired up about playing games.
And how much is it intimidating at all coming into a film study session or something like that? 2 quarterbacks that played in the league.
Yeah. I don't think it's intimidating as much as it is just exciting. I think anything I can do to pick up extra knowledge or nuggets, I guess you could say, from them. Obviously, having been around so much football their entire lives. Coach Brom, played with Steve Young, or Coach Jeff Brom played with Steve Young. Coach Brian Brom played with Aaron Rodgers. So I think they've been around the game at the highest level, and I think anything you can kind of pick up from them is very special. I try to do as much as I can.
For you, it's been from California to Louisville. What's been your favorite part, and what's been the hardest part for you?
That's a good question. I think my favorite part is just an experience of something new. I was really ready to, I guess for lack of a better word, to try something new. And I think it's been awesome, being away from home, being out of my comfort zone, pushing myself to grow, has been really cool. I think the hardest part was, I talked about this a little bit earlier, was how cold it was when I moved in. That was definitely a shock. Just wearing I'd never really worn a puffy jacket before, so I had to make an investment in one of those. But it's been awesome. I mean, I think, like I said, I was really ready for something new. Ready to experience a different part of the country, ready to get around different types of people. They welcomed me with open arms. I'm super grateful for that. Just the opportunity that's presented itself in Louisville. So couldn't be more excited.
I asked you about the offensive scheme and how it's been working. What has been your focus over the summer so you're ready to hit the ground running in fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it previously, but just having complete mastery of the system, I think, has been my focus. I think, I'm someone that places a huge emphasis on playing on time, and I think in order to do that, you have to know exactly what's going on and what you're trying to accomplish under this next play. So I think that's been my biggest focus. I mean, obviously, bringing the team together, taking the O-line to top golf and stuff like that, just doing things outside of football. We started, having offensive unit meetings every Wednesday that had nothing to do with scheme. So we would have 1 or 2 people lead it every week and just talk about, who they were, where they're coming from, the goals they see for this offense, and what we can do to accomplish it. So I think, there have been kind of little steps taken outside of the traditional structure of football for us to come together. But I think my biggest focus has just been, having complete mastery and just continuing to play on time more and more.
What's your favorite part about this scheme in terms of how it's able to attack opposing defenses?
I think just how multiple it is. We have the ability to run the ball under center. We have the ability to run out of the gun. We have the ability to run play action. We can drop back pass. We can throw quick games. So I think that's not something that defenses are presented with and threatened by every single week. So I think that's what excites me most.
And then lastly, what is the biggest goal that you and the overall offense have in mind for 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to be an elite offense. And I think in order to do that, we have to take it week by week. When you approach something, like a college football season, which is, spans over, a number of weeks and months and a number of different opponents, it's hard to take all that and boil it down to one goal, right? But I think in order to be elite offensively, we have to treat each week like a one-game season. and not get distracted by that, not look ahead, and just stay focused on the job at hand, on the practice at hand, and getting the best out of ourselves each and every day. And I think if we're able to do that, then we're going to be able to accomplish our overarching goals.
Kind of on that note, what's the emotions leading up now that the first day of fall camp is about here? What's the emotions, and how do you stay level-headed when you get so excited for it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm super excited. I'm not particularly passionate about running and lifting weights, but I am very passionate about football. So whenever we get to transition from training to football, it always excites me. I'm excited to just see, my progression in terms of comfortability from spring to camp. I'm excited and curious to kind of see how that feels. I'm really excited to see some of the talent that we added in the spring window, especially at the receiver position. And then I think our defense has continued to get better and better as the summer has gone on. Coach Jeff Blum has been, very involved defensively. I think he's done a great job, so I'm excited to see, that level of competition rise as we go into camp.
And talking with Chris, you said, the timing between you guys, and not just the two of you, but the other receivers is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, no, I felt really good. We've put a ton of work in, and I give those guys credit. It's a lot harder to go out there and run routes than it is to drop back and throw the football. So their willingness and readiness to get the best out of themselves has been awesome. We've thrown every Saturday we've been off, and these guys could sleep in after they kill us on Fridays on leg day and stuff like that. They could sleep in and not come in on Saturday, but they made a concerted effort to come in. Run routes every Saturday. We've watched film after every workout throughout the summer. Like I said, they can get in the cold tub and go home. They're not obligated to do that, but I think their ability to do that really speaks to them wanting to be the best version of themselves, and I think it'll pay dividends when it comes to the season.